Hey guys, welcome back once again. As it seems like I'm always trying to catch up on videos and leaving comments and even doing videos, uh, I've noticed, I've noticed this before, but I've noticed a few videos and that there are some really talented people, artistic-wise, out there, and it just kind of, inspired me to dig into my artwork again. I've shown some of this stuff. Several months ago, my son and I had done a video together, kind of, you know, recollecting our love for comics and art and, all things pop culture related and all that. And I showed some drawings I did for him years ago when he was still small. This is probably 20 some odd years ago. His mother and I were divorced, and she had custody of him. And a lot of times, the only time I got to communicate with him, and I won't go into all that mess, but was by letter or by drawing, and it got to be a thing with him and I or he and I that he would pick a character, and that would be the drawing of the week that I would have to do and send him. So that's sort of like our little thing that kind of kept the communication open and just kind of let him know I was thinking about him. But I got custody of him a few years later, and I'm not going to go into all that either. But I want to show what I had left of these, and then show some recent things I did in the last few years, and then I'll save the really embarrassing stuff that I did when I was a kid for last. So. But anyway, these are all the drawings that I did for my son, and he was, like I say, he was kind enough to let me borrow those all several months ago, and I never brought them back. And as soon as I do this, I'm going to get it back to him. Like I say, this is just stuff that I would, I'd send him one of these a week, and there are several in there, so kind of bear with me. This is no notebook he had. All these are in plastic, so they might not show up real well. But I'll just kind of start out here. Here we have one of the Beast. Drawing of Judge Dredd. Now the quality on these are a little varied, but he liked them. So there's one of Judge Dredd. Have one of Captain America, and all this is just pencil and pen and ink, and mostly just colored pencils. There's an image character, Vanguard. One of the Hulk, back when he had his vest days going on. Captain Marvel. There we got Storm. A couple lesser known characters. I think this was an image character, Photon. Agent Liberty, and my attempt at a Todd McFarlane Spider-Man. Okay, the sleeves are starting to wear out. Human Torch, a la John Byrne. Batman and Robin. I think he said the Robin was one of his favorites. We have black and white of the Gladiator. The Thing. And let's see. Okay, this is he wanted to have his own super group. So he gave me the names, and then I had to draw. I had to make up the characters. But here's his super squad. You have this little guy's called Torture. What's this other guy? Flashback. Wonderbird. And this guy's name is Heat. And they have like a little spaceship type computer dude that part of the group called the Oyster. And that is my son's super squad. So Okay, we have Mr. Fantastic. I know all these are hard to see. Invisible Girl. Martian Manhunter. Cyclops. Wonder Woman. Here's I think that was just a quick one. Flash. And Green Lantern. Hawkman. Aquaman. Thor with his bottom of his leg going off panel. We have Iron Man from the 80s. Fire from the Justice League International. Kind of sorry about the glare. We have Garfield and Professor X. Nightcrawler. Pyro. The Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Wolverine. Colossus. Puck from Alpha Flight. I always liked that character. Green Goblin. Karate Kid. A la Mike Grell doing his take on Bruce Lee. Miss Marvel in her 80s incarnation. Kid Flash before he came Flash. Okay, here's another one of Flash that is. That one's a little bit better than the other one. And this is, I guess, this is one of his favorites too. Warlord, a la Mike Grell. The Demon. Another one of the Beast. It's kind of dark. I don't know if you can see that or not. Some of my favorites. Peanuts, Snoopy and Woodstock. Impulse. Some of the Smurfs. Yeah, it was something different every week. And we didn't even have a suggestion. I'll just have to make up one. Or here's one of my favorites. Here's a Kyle Rayner Green Lantern. Peanuts Gang. Actually, some of my son's drawings. He's gonna kill me for this, but he got some talent too. I believe he could develop if he wanted to. Some more of his stuff. Daredevil. Mark Claw from the Amalgam Comics. Everybody remembers the DC versus Marvel. That one took some time. It was just a loose sketch of Wolverine I was doing. Not very good. Okay, here's Archangel. Hal Jordan was Parallax. Supergirl and Hourman. Deadpool. Cable. Sorry about the glare. Okay. Well, I think that's about all for those. Thanks for bearing with me. Okay, here's some old paper flying all over. Try not to make this too long. Here's some pen and ink stuff I did probably in the last 10 years. A couple of them are fairly recent. Here's sort of a sci-fi motif. I was experimenting with some acrylic ink, white acrylic ink, and the results were like less than satisfactory. I mean, I got globs all over the place. But anyway, you have a guy in a spacesuit fighting a robot, and you have a spaceship down in the bottom. So, and believe it or not, as big a Planet of the Apes fan as I am, I think I've only done maybe 2 drawings of apes, which is really kind of strange to me now that I think about it. But here's one I did a few years ago, and this became one of my wife's favorites, so this belongs to her now. So this is a pen and ink I did of Planet of the Apes. I think I did this from a trading card or something. I had like 2 different kinds of ink, and one of them kind of turned brown on me, and the rest of it was kind of dark, so it looks kind of funky. I'm not sure what I was using there, but it didn't turn out the way I wanted it. Here you have your basic barbarian type thing going on. There's another one of those deals where I used 2 different pens or 2 different kinds of ink, and some of it was black and some of it turned brown for some reason. I kind of like this one. And here's one I did a couple years ago. I think I took a panel out of a Western comic or something and just made a picture out of it. This was pen and ink and marker and colored pencil, I think. And a little bit of sponge there from foliage, I think, if I remember right. And here's one I did a couple of years ago. Yeah, it's dated. Call this one Cabin Fever. Guy looks like he's been in the woods too long. I tell you the cool thing about this one though is that not really the drawing, is just this frame. My dad actually made this. He does a lot of great stuff with wood, and this frame is completely handmade. So I'm proud of this one just for that fact. I mean, I could have put any drawing in here and it probably would look good just because of the frame he put on it. But okay, now let's get down to the embarrassing stuff. Now, about all of this stuff here was done 12, 13, 14 years old, so I apologize in advance. I had a grand idea. I was going to make up 100 of my own superheroes or characters. Then I was going to put them all in a big story, and found out that didn't really work out the way I wanted it to. I got most of them drawn, at least the ideas I had. And, you know, they're kind of simple and I guess you could say derivative. Of course, any superhero, you know, after Superman is derivative. So, but anyway, they're just some characters that I drew in a little little sketch pad. There was like a little store where my mom and dad live, and I guess it was like a consignment place. And they were selling like sketch pads for like a quarter, and colored pencils for like a dime for a box of colored pencils. So I went in there and went crazy. But anyway, here's here's some characters when I was young. We have Bacterion and Cougar and the Blue Sparrow and the Atomizer. I think that dude's name is the Obelisk. This little lady down here, his name is Toxic. Now, some of these names appeared in comics later on, so I guess you could say they stole them from me, and probably anybody else was making up characters when they were a kid. Monarch, I think DC used that name. This guy named Spartan, I think he was like an Image used a character with that name later on. The lady in pink, her name is Vermilion. And this is the Silencer. I guess because if he busts you in the mouth, you're not going to talk. The Perpetrator. Sky Maiden. Maelstrom. And I know Marvel had another character called that. I think it was like a villain. Guy in the green, his name is Nightfire. The Axe, the wielder of all things sharp. Silverain. I still don't know what half the powers or abilities of these people are. I think some are self-explanatory, others I don't know. Chick named Sonic. Guy named Alloy Master. You can kind of tell the proportions are like way off. The guy's head looks like he got shrunk by cannibals or something. Azalea and Black Surge. Blue Satin and the Catalyst. I guess he was my answer to a little-known character in the Legion of Superheroes, Chemical King. Captain Genesis and the Celestial. Damselfly, Colonel Galaxy. There we go. Devatron and Dimension. I guess, yeah, I think I was going alphabetical order on these. Disastron and the Dovin. Dwarf, there's my answer to Puck. The Embody Man. The Entity. Fauna Queen. Featherweight, I guess that was my answer to Light Lass of the Legion. Fishing Master. Able to leap tall fishing poles in a single bound. Free Wind. And Fusion Girl. And Holo Girl. And the Hurricane. Incarnate. And the White Leopard. Jet. And the character my son always hated, the Lariat. We have Leatherblade and Megabolt. Yeah, I'm not sure what this guy's name is, to be honest with you. Density King, I think. Yeah, this was a few years later. I've gotten a little bit better, maybe. This chick's name was Neon. Don't have a clue. I've got a list of this somewhere if it hadn't crumbled into little bits of paper by now. I think this guy's name was the Meteor. this was a little bit better. What was her name? Moon Empress, I think was her name. And this guy's, I think I showed some of these before. This guy's name was The Mask, M-A-S-Q-U-E. Titanus, he was like a giant. And Cobalt. Some of these are loose. This guy's name was Stratos. I didn't get finished inking him, but there's my android called Paradox. The Earth Lord. Sort of got the little tree insignia there, or something going on. Not sure. And back to the old days, Cosmic Eye and Centaurus. And apparently here's one I started sketching and didn't finish them, so don't know. Here we have Nymph. Not Nympho. I think I was going to call her Wood Nymph, but I think that name was already taken. And this guy's name is Inversion. I think that was actually later on, or back in the day, a Wonder Woman villain or something back in the 70s or 80s. Not sure. The Gazelle and Goldenrod. Moonbeam. Kind of liked her. And this is the Wayfarer. Okay, almost done, guys. Like anybody that loves comics and loves drawing and making their own characters, and I'm sure a lot of you have made your own comic books. I actually had several, and I'm not really sure. Well, I am sure. I had probably 3 or 4. There was anywhere from 8 to 20 pages each, and I think I had them all out on a coffee table several years ago. And I had coffee on the table, and you know how the story ends. I think I was maybe able to salvage 2 or 3 pages out of all that, and some panels from the other that didn't get coffee stained, because the rest of it was just trash. It breaks my heart to this day. But anyway, here's another one. I think this was my first one. His name was the Scavenger. Okay, here's another one. Calculus, smartest man in the cosmos. So here are some panels. Stuff I didn't get to use. There's some characters I didn't get to draw full body, so I just threw their heads in there. Couldn't tell you who any of them are. There was part of a cover I was going to do on one of them, and this is the only part I could salvage out of the coffee disaster. I think that little guy's name there is Hydroblast. Yeah, I think this was one of the first groups I made up. Yeah. We have the Hummingbird, the Medallion, Refractor, the Originator, Hydroblast, Tyra, and Arrow King. I guess this dude was going to be the leader, Hydroblast. And there's some of the rest of them in the back. Okay, and here's some panels and pages from what was left. Well, actually, I don't know what happened to the original, but I Xeroxed a page of black and whites of characters I made up. So Kind of hard to tell there, but okay. And here's 2 or 3 panels from one of my ruined aborted comics. And some more. I think this group is called the Crime Stoppers. I think the title was Coming of the Crime Stoppers. He was chasing a crook. There he is flying on patrol. Hydroblast, I don't know how he was flying since he was water-based, but there you are. There's some more panels that didn't get ruined. He meets his first alien and whatever. And I made the mistake of drawing front and back, and I used like a black marker, and it bled through. So there's some more of the story. I'm not even sure if I had the script finished on this one yet. But here's where the black marker bled through on me. And I guess he's explaining who all these other characters are. Their origin. I know it's kind of hard to read, but anyway. And I had one whole page of this story left from another group. Their secret meeting place. So, but there you go, guys. I appreciate you suffering through that, if you did. But like I said, we got a lot of great talents out in the community. I know I got inspired to do this. I was watching one of Nick Vu's videos, Eddie Nick 1, and he was doing some awesome sketches, just kind of off the cuff there. And I know LaRasa is another great talent. I know Hippie's done some stuff. I've seen one of his Batman drawings. And I know there's a ton of people because they had I guess they had that community art project maybe 3 years ago, and I think that's right when I joined YouTube, and I kind of missed out on that one. But I know I'm missing all kinds of people. But yeah, there's some really great talents out there, and you guys that have any old stuff like that, I mean, I would love to see it and see if yours, well, they have to be better than mine, but if they're just as bad as mine, I would especially love to see them. But I appreciate you guys sticking around, and for anybody who's interested, and we'll catch you next time. Onward and upward.